Afternoon.
Afternoon.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
Good.
And
I want.
you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Sorry, my head's already on because I've been waiting to speak to you about this. Not that it's like a complete idea, but I'm thinking ahead to next year to Ostara and other things that we could do. And you know that I've always been very keen to think about the somatic side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had mentioned, it was actually you mentioned it last week or the week before about the yoga specifically, that there's some yoga poses that are designed to release trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thinking about this as well as thinking back to conversations we've had a long time ago. And I'm really drawn to it as an idea. So I was thinking about whether or not we could do a collaboration, and then I was thinking further about, what kind of people might benefit from something like that, and whether or not we could reach out to any people to sort of test and learn. And you've got more of a background in this kind of thing than I have, but I suppose I was wondering whether or not there were steps that we could take to do this with a view to it being maybe not, I don't know how formally evaluated, but evaluated to some degree to be a intervention that could be, developed into something very specific for people who are, it's just that answer to how do you, once you've worked through distress or stress or trauma in your mind and psychologically and through talking, and it's still sitting with you physically, how do you work that out of your system? So it's pulling together the somatic side of it with the mental health side of it, which is what I'm so interested in. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today.
I think doing a trial is the easy bit. It's deciding, or maybe not. I mean, I'll just say what I'm thinking because I'm not forming it well. But is it for a circle of sorts, or is it for one-to-one?
I don't think feasibly it could be one-to-one when I think about it as a longer term model. And I know that there's a big drawback to it not being one-to-one because people may not feel safe in groups. I guess in terms of building that kind of safety, I would imagine a very small group that stays the same might be the better option moving forward. And the benefit of having any kind of group is that there's still the element of peer support and connectedness between women. So I guess what I'm thinking is, yes, still circle based, because that would be the psychological and relational support following any kind of release of tension and trauma. So I would imagine it to be maybe the same length as we're doing now in circles. So maybe still like an hour and a half, somebody to guide the group through that somatic practice, then the space being held to talk about whatever comes up with a therapist there or somebody who can hold that for the group, and then a relaxation at the end. So still sticking to what we believe in, that after you've done these things, it can be hard, that you are supported to feel okay again and rebalanced as best as you can be before you go on about your everyday life. So that's sort of rough structure I'm thinking of. So the yoga, the circle, and then the relaxation at the end. But I don't think you could feasibly do it one-to-one because, it might feel too intense, and I guess it would be quite costly having the two practitioners there for somebody on a one-to-one basis, if you know what I mean.
Trauma can be spoken about and can be worked through to a point, and then it remains within the body. It's within the body. We know this. We know how we get it stuck in our shoulders, or, me, it's in my neck,
I was thinking as well about vicarious trauma though, and
Yeah.
I was thinking when I mentioned earlier, I was thinking about potential people that might benefit. There were two people that I was thinking of. One was perhaps more obvious in terms of it being trauma, but helping women to feel safe and connected to their own body again after sexual violence.
Yeah.
And the other was professionals who are working in mental health, who understand the therapeutic process and have clinical supervision and can talk about things, but still potentially are going and sitting in a room, say, for example, somebody who is working with sexual violence goes and sits in a room for the entire working day, listening to trauma after trauma after trauma. And what I hear from professionals is that even though they do understand it, and even though they have all of the right things in place to try and look after themselves, it is sometimes held in their body.
Because
And
they freeze.
Yeah.
Because they freeze like children would freeze. And
Yeah.
so you hold yourself still and you hold it in your body, and that becomes the natural pose every time.
I went to yoga last night, a normal yoga class, and I notice, and I know it for myself, that over the last few weeks I've had things on my mind, and I can notice what it is that's weighing on my mind through doing yoga, because if you pay attention to the bits that keep coming up for you, you're like, oh, that's something then that's just under the surface for me. So even in that really everyday sense, I do think that it helps, but it's holding that space afterwards to help people to work through that and make sense of it, instead of just that, oh, well, now you've just pushed it down again because you're going to get in the car and go home and feed your kids and stuff and get on. It's that moment where we could have brought it out and begun to process it, but we don't. And it's that I'm thinking combining circle with something like yoga could be beneficial. And people are combining circle with other modalities quite a lot already. Like if you look about, you'll see lots of examples of it being combined with like sound therapy, for example. And I thought it might be good to test something else that might naturally fit.
And I suppose really what we're missing, or what I'm missing, I don't know that you are, is that if we start with the yoga practices, it doesn't have to be an hour long, but whatever it might be, you start with that, and then the circle is the debrief.
Yeah. And yes, and I know there can be a reluctance for group. I do get it if people have experienced things they might not want to share in group. I get all of that, but actually our whole ethos is that it is in the connection and the support of the community. So I sort of wouldn't want to lean towards taking people out for an individual debrief. I think you could always make it really known that you're here beyond circle if they needed to reach out. If anybody did really need that individual support, it would be available. But the model, if you like, or the idea would be that together that we heal within the relationships with other women. And it is relational damage quite often. So I think there's value in that.
Yeah. The relationship is what does the repair.
Yeah. So I'm interested in pursuing this as an idea, maybe to test something in the new year, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable that it fits enough with Ostara, although it may not be what you're doing? I know you've got other things that you may be spending your time on. So it could be that we start to do things individually.
Absolutely. No, I absolutely think it's part of what we originally believed Ostara would be doing. The message is simple, really. It's women supporting women, and it's women returning to the traditions and the practices that worked previously and that we've lost. So it doesn't really matter what the mechanism is. It's helpful that it's yoga. It doesn't have to be yoga. It could be acupressure. It could be any form of movement.
Yeah.
It could be any of those. It's just responding and focusing on the part of the body where the tension, where the trauma, where the emotion, where the distress is being held, and is frequently being tensed at the time when something similar happens. So I think it's everything and anything that is getting women together.
Yeah.
I think the idea is sound. It's about finding the location, finding the obviously the venue, same thing. Finding the time and finding the yoga practitioner to support that.
Yeah. Yes. So I will start to look into those things and yeah, keep you posted.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
No, brilliant. I've really enjoyed that. It's good to follow an idea through, because sometimes we one idea to another. So it's been good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. See you soon.
See you soon.